In the early 2010s, a startup emerged from the heart of Silicon Valley promising a medical revolution. Theranos, founded by the charismatic Elizabeth Holmes, claimed to have developed technology that could perform hundreds of blood tests from just a few drops, drawn painlessly from a finger prick. This vision captured the imagination of investors and the public alike, offering a future where diagnostics were cheap, accessible, and immediate. It was an idea perfectly aligned with Silicon Valley's disruptive ethos, promising to transform an industry ripe for innovation. Elizabeth Holmes presented herself as a visionary, often drawing comparisons to tech giants like Steve Jobs. She had a unique narrative, claiming to have dropped out of Stanford to pursue her groundbreaking idea, driven by a deep desire to help people. Her intense, direct gaze, deep voice, and consistent black turtleneck became an iconic part of her carefully crafted persona. This image resonated deeply with the Silicon Valley archetype of the young, ambitious founder poised to change the world, making her an incredibly compelling figure. Holmes founded Theranos in 2003, originally naming it Real-Time Cures. Her ambition was to democratize healthcare, making vital diagnostic information readily available. The name Theranos itself, a portmanteau of therapy and diagnosis, signaled a broad aspiration. From its inception, the company operated with an extreme level of secrecy, a characteristic often tolerated, even celebrated, in Silicon Valley for startups guarding proprietary technology. This culture of opacity, however, would later prove to be a significant red flag for those looking back. At the heart of Theranos' claims was the Edison machine, a compact, automated device supposedly capable of running a comprehensive suite of tests from a tiny blood sample. This revolutionary technology, according to Holmes, eliminated the need for large vials of blood in specialized labs, promising faster, cheaper, and more convenient diagnostics. Silicon Valley investors, eager to back the next big disruption, were told that the Edison represented a paradigm shift in healthcare, a genuine breakthrough that would redefine an entire industry. The promise was alluring, the details scarce. Theranos quickly became a darling of Silicon Valley. Investors, drawn by Holmes's compelling vision and the potential for astronomical returns, poured hundreds of millions into the company. Notable figures like Tim Draper, Larry Ellison, and Rupert Murdoch invested substantial sums, often with minimal due diligence, swayed by the promise and the founder's charisma. The allure of disrupting healthcare, combined with the founder worship prevalent in the valley, created an environment where questions were often overlooked in favor of potential future glory. The narrative of an unstoppable innovator was too good to resist. Holmes graced the covers of prominent magazines like Fortune and Forbes, frequently lauded as a trailblazer and the youngest self-made female billionaire. Media outlets echoed the company's ambitious claims, further cementing Theranos' image as a game-changer. This positive press, fueled by strategic PR and a lack of critical technical scrutiny, amplified the hype, making it even harder for skeptical voices to be heard. The story of Theranos became a symbol of Silicon Valley's boundless innovation, attracting more investment and public admiration. To bolster its credibility, Theranos assembled an extraordinary board of directors, including former Secretaries of State George Shultz and Henry Kissinger, and former Secretary of Defense William Perry. These highly respected political figures, while lacking scientific or medical expertise, lent immense gravitas to the company. Their presence on the board reassured investors and the public that Theranos was a legitimate and formidable enterprise, despite the opaque nature of its technology. It exemplified how influence and reputation could substitute for rigorous technical validation within Silicon Valley's ecosystem. At its peak in 2014, Theranos achieved a valuation of over $9 billion. This staggering figure placed it among the most valuable privately held startups in the healthcare technology sector. The valuation was based almost entirely on the promise of its purported technology and the charisma of its founder, rather than on any independently verified scientific data or revenue. For Silicon Valley, it was another triumph of disruptive innovation, a testament to the power of big ideas and bold claims to attract massive capital. Beneath the surface of public acclaim, Theranos operated with an intense culture of secrecy and paranoia. Employees were required to sign extensive non-disclosure agreements, and information was strictly siloed. Scientific staff struggled to make the Edison device work as advertised, often resorting to modifying existing commercial machines to run tests. Yet, any internal dissent or questions about the technology's capabilities were met with intimidation or dismissal. This environment actively suppressed challenges to the company's narrative, preventing internal truth from reaching external stakeholders, including its influential investors. Despite its high valuation, Theranos conspicuously avoided peer-reviewed scientific publications, a cornerstone of medical and scientific validation. The company claimed trade secrets protected its innovations, a plausible but increasingly suspicious excuse in the scientific community. Furthermore, independent validation from medical experts was scarce. These red flags, however, were largely overlooked by many in Silicon Valley, where the mantra of disruption often prioritized speed and market potential over traditional scientific rigor. The belief in Holmes's vision proved more compelling than calls for verifiable evidence. The internal pressure eventually became too much for some employees. Tyler Schultz, grandson of board member George Schultz, and Erica Chung were among the brave whistleblowers who raised serious concerns internally and, eventually, to external parties. They reported that Theranos technology was unreliable, producing inaccurate results, and that the company was secretly using modified commercial lab equipment for most patient tests. Their testimonies provided crucial, first-hand accounts of the deception at the core of Theranos, risking their careers to expose the truth. In 2015, investigative journalist John Carreyrou of the Wall Street Journal began a deep dive into Theranos. He was tipped off by a concerned medical expert and started gathering evidence, including testimonies from former employees and whistleblowers. Carreyrou's investigation faced immense pressure and intimidation from Theranos and its powerful legal team, who threatened lawsuits and attempted to discredit his sources. Yet, his unwavering commitment to factual reporting eventually unveiled the truth that Silicon Valley had seemingly chosen to ignore. Carreyrou's groundbreaking article, published in October 2015, delivered a devastating blow to Theranos. It revealed that the company was performing most of its blood tests on traditional, commercially available machines, not its proprietary Edison device. Furthermore, the few tests run on the Edison were reportedly unreliable and inaccurate, potentially endangering patients. The article exposed that the billion-dollar lie was not merely an exaggeration of potential, but a fundamental misrepresentation of existing technology and capabilities, directly contradicting years of claims to investors and the public. The Wall Street Journal's exposé triggered immediate regulatory action. The Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, CMS, found severe deficiencies at Theranos' Newark, California lab, citing immediate jeopardy to patient health. The FDA also increased its scrutiny, finding that the Edison device was not cleared for use with most of the tests Theranos offered. These official findings confirmed the journalistic investigation's allegations, leading to a cascade of restrictions and ultimately, the revocation of Theranos' operating license for its California lab. The government stepped in where Silicon Valley's due diligence had failed. As the truth unraveled, the implications for Theranos investors were catastrophic. The company's valuation plummeted from over $9 billion to virtually zero. Investors who had poured hundreds of millions into the company, including some of Silicon Valley's most prominent names, faced massive losses. They had bet big on a compelling narrative and a charismatic founder, only to discover they had been sold a vision without substance. Lawsuits followed swiftly, as shareholders sought to recover their investments, marking a painful reckoning for those who had been swayed by the hype. In June 2018, Theranos officially ceased operations and began the process of liquidation. The company that had promised to revolutionize healthcare ended in scandal and bankruptcy, a stark reminder of the consequences of unchecked ambition and deception. All remaining assets were sold off, marking the final chapter of a startup that had once symbolized the future of Silicon Valley innovation. The company's collapse was not just a business failure, but a profound ethical one, leaving behind a trail of disillusioned investors, exposed patients, and a tarnished reputation. The legal consequences for Elizabeth Holmes and her former COO, Sunny Balwani, were severe. In June 2018, Both were indicted on multiple counts of wire fraud and conspiracy to commit wire fraud by a federal grand jury. The charges alleged that they had engaged in a multi-million-dollar scheme to defraud investors and a separate scheme to defraud doctors and patients. This transformed the corporate scandal into a criminal case, indicating the seriousness of the deception and its impact beyond just financial losses, directly addressing the lie component of the Theranos narrative. Elizabeth Holmes's trial began in 2021, capturing national attention. After months of testimony, a jury found her guilty on 4 counts of defrauding investors in January 2022. She was sentenced to over 11 years in prison. Sunny Balwani's trial followed, resulting in his conviction on all 12 counts of wire fraud and conspiracy to commit wire fraud. He received a nearly 13-year sentence. These verdicts delivered a definitive judgment on the billion-dollar lie, confirming that the deception was not merely a business failure but a criminal enterprise that knowingly defrauded sophisticated investors and the public. The Theranos saga forced Silicon Valley to confront uncomfortable truths about its culture. The incident highlighted the dangers of fake it till you make it pushed to criminal extremes, and the perils of investor FOMO, fear of missing out, leading to inadequate due diligence. It sparked a critical re-evaluation of how startups are vetted, particularly in complex and sensitive sectors like healthcare. The industry began to scrutinize claims more thoroughly, emphasizing the need for scientific validation alongside charismatic leadership and ambitious visions. The Theranos collapse served as a stark, expensive lesson. Theranos stands as one of the most infamous startup scandals in modern business history. It's a cautionary tale of a billion-dollar lie that, for years, successfully fooled Silicon Valley and beyond. The story of Elizabeth Holmes and Theranos serves as a powerful reminder that while innovation and ambition are celebrated, they must be grounded in integrity, transparency, and verifiable truth. The narrative of disruption should not overshadow the fundamental requirements of scientific proof and ethical conduct, especially when it comes to human health. Its legacy continues to echo through the tech world, a constant warning against the seductive power of a grand vision unmoored from reality.